What's up, everybody? We've been waiting on an announcement for UFC 306, the Sphere's headliner, and Dana White delivered that to us last night, and that is going to be Sugar Sean O'Malley defending his title against Merab Dvalishvili. And the fights that have been added to this card, we're going to go through the main card and talk about some of the other fights that are on this card as well. This is an unbelievable card, ladies and gentlemen. This is a great fight, and I first want to mention, what I'm getting sick and tired of in the MMA world and MMA community is the unrealistic expectations when it comes to fight cards. I mean, it's getting out of hand, guys. Look, this is a great matchup for the headlining the card in terms of the main event. Was it the fight that I was expecting to headline the Sphere? No, it wasn't. I thought that maybe we were going to get Max Holloway, Ilia Topuria, something along those lines. But the more thinking I did, and the more, we've talked about this on my live streams, if there was going to be somebody that the UFC is high on and trying to force down our throats to star power, somebody who is going to headline this once-in-a-lifetime card, Sean O'Malley fits the build for that. He has outstanding striking. He's an outstanding fighter overall. Lacks a little bit in terms of the charisma, but he's somebody that the UFC wants to be the face of the franchise, so to speak, and Sean O'Malley is the guy that they are looking to do that, or looking to bring to the forefront for that. But it's an outstanding main event. And then added on the card as well, I'll throw this up here for you. And shout out to Marcel Dorf, man. The guy does a great job breaking the news. I've used a lot of photos from him, in my videos. I like all the work that this man does. I'll link that his X profile down below. Make sure you're following him so you can stay up to date with, all the fight news and things like that. But main event, Sean O'Malley, Merab Dvalishvili, outstanding matchup. I've been on the record saying I think Sean O'Malley makes this look easy. Look, this is a tailor-made matchup for Sean O'Malley. I know Merab has the pace, he has the pressure, but where's the threat, right? When Merab's not knocking anybody out, he's not submitting anybody. This is a blueprint stylistic matchup, giving Sean O'Malley a big moment in front of the world, so to speak, right? The Sphere is going to be this kind of generational fight card, with all the atmosphere and everything that they're doing. Put Sean O'Malley in there with a tailor-made guy. This is what they did with Conor McGregor back in the day. Sean O'Malley has incredible footwork, incredible distance management. He has incredible timing, incredible speed. Like, he has it all, man. Sean O'Malley is an outstanding fighter. I think he's better than Conor ever was, right? I've said that before. I think he's a more advanced version of Conor McGregor. The way he's able to switch stances. I am incredibly high on Sean O'Malley. I think he makes this look relatively easy against Merab Dvalishvili. And no, this isn't a dig at Merab. I think Merab is a spectacular fighter. He is on a hot streak. He has been absolutely spectacular, what he's able to do. He's an alien, honestly. I don't think Merab is from Earth. The cardio, the pressure, the pace. I get tired watching the fight, and I'm not even in there. So that speaks to, volumes of what we're seeing from Merab in there. That's a great matchup. And then also on this card, co-main event, we have Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. This was actually a fight that I predicted on my card builder video for 306 that I made, several months back, saying this fight was going to be on the card. This is a great matchup. Complete the trilogy. Two great fighters, two of the top women in the weight class. Alexa Grasso, good boxing, good grappling. Valentina Shevchenko, good Muay Thai, good grappling as well. This is a very, very, very close fight. I do think that Valentina Shevchenko is going to be able to get this done, but anytime you leave it in the judge's hands, some of the ground control time, some of those different things tend to lean and favor a little bit towards Alexa Grasso. But nonetheless, guys, outstanding matchup in the co-main event. I love this fight. I wanted this trilogy. I'm glad it's taking place on a big card like this. I love the co-main event. Okay, Brian Ortega, Diego Lopez. I feel bad for Diego Lopez, right? For, UFC 303, takes the fight on short notice. So does Brian Ortega. I really don't know why they were trying to throw that together at the last minute. Look, I know Conor dropped off the card. They're kind of trying to add some more firepower to it, more star power. I get it. Why not give these guys a full camp? And they are going to get basically a full camp for this matchup. I love the fight between Diego and Brian Ortega, man. These guys are absolute savages. They're tough. They're durable. They have it all. I mean, we're talking about two of the most, dangerous guys in terms of the jiu-jitsu in all of MMA, not just the featherweight division. And what we saw from Diego Lopez, I know that Diego battled all the adversity, right? First of all, good to hear that Brian Ortega's doing well. I know, he was sick, couldn't compete, whatever. Dan Ige steps in on short notice. We have Diego Lopez who's cutting weight and then stopped cutting weight and then adding weight. I mean, it was a disaster for Diego Lopez. And UFC says, hey, look, man, we're going to pay you regardless. You're going to get paid regardless. You don't even have to take a fight. And this man says, no, I'm fighting. I'm going to fight Diego. And they give him Dan Ige, goes out there. There were some moments, right, where you got to see, some of the vulnerabilities of Diego. But for me, kind of hard to take a lot into that or look a lot into that, right? Because of all the circumstances, the having a fight, not having a fight, the mental toll, then having to cut weight, then add weight. I mean, Diego Lopez weighed in at like almost 3 different weight classes, right, getting ready for this. So I don't think we can factor too much of that in. But what we can say, Brian Ortega's a dog, man. He's a stud, and his boxing has improved, his striking has improved, and I think that this is just going to be an absolute war between these two. I can't wait for this matchup. This is a great fight. The featured fight right under the co-main event. Outstanding matchup on the Sphere. Love it. Great matchup. Okay, Daniel Zohuber, Esteban Ribovic. I mean, that's an incredible fight. That's an incredible fight. 2 young prospects on the rise that have just been absolutely showing out since he's been in the UFC. I mean, Esteban coming off that incredible KO of Terrence McKinney. And then what we've seen from Zohuber, long, rangy, just seems to have a little bit of the it factor in terms of the striking. This is a fire matchup, man. Why are people complaining? This is a great matchup. I love this fight. Then we go down, we have Ronaldo, geez, I'm burping here. I'm getting excited, man. Ronaldo Rodriguez, Ode Osborne. People are, why is Ode Osborne on the card? Guys, they're trying to build Ronaldo Rodriguez. Come on. We see this all the time on pay-per-view cards. We see this all the time. They just did this basically with Joe Pyfer. Now, granted, it was on a featured prelim. They gave him Marc-Andre Barrial. They gave him somebody that's go in there, you should starch this guy, and then you can get on the microphone, give your spiel, and we can continue to build you. Why does everybody have a problem with this fight? I don't get it. So it's a fun matchup. Ronaldo brings it every single time. Ode Osborne is not going to back down. Good matchup. Young guy versus a veteran. We see these matchups all the time. I don't get what the issue is. Okay, then let's just touch a little bit on the prelim card here. Manuel Torres versus Ignacio Bahamondes. One of the best fights on the card. The Zohuber fighting in this fight might be 2 of the best matchups on the entire card, and that's going to be the featured prelim. 2 young, hungry prospects that are really on the brink of cracking into the rankings and really starting to go on a run here. That is an amazing matchup. I foresee a finish in this matchup. Firefight. Then we got Arena Aldana, Norma Dumont. Great matchup. I know how people are, women's MMA and this. Arena Aldana is my favorite female fighter inside the UFC. Her boxing is outstanding. I think she could go in there and outbox most of the men in MMA. So Arena Aldana has some of the best boxing, period, in MMA, I would say. I like her high guard. I like the way she fights behind the jab. Sometimes she struggles to open up a little bit. We saw that against Amanda Nunes. But nonetheless, and she's got to defend a leg kick, for God's sake. Hopefully she's learned how to deal with a leg kick. Love the matchup. Norma Dumont's kind of been on a run as well. Arena Aldana kind of looking to get back into the title picture. I love watching Arena Aldana fight. One of my favorite fighters in terms of the boxing to watch. She has very, very good technique, very crisp, very clean. I like the matchup. And then, added on this as well, Raul Rosas Jr. They're trying to build Raul, man. You knew Raul was going to be on the Sphere. This is a great moment. Have him open up the night, put butts in seats early. This is going to be a spectacle, right? You've heard it. Now, in terms of the viewer experience from the TV side of things, I'm not so sure how much different it looks. But in terms of the experience when you're there, this is going to be one of those things where you're probably going to be there from the first fight of the night until the very end. I think we have, 10 fights instead of 12, so it's a little bit cut down. I love this card. Could it have been better? We can always say a card could have been better. But here's the problem. When you have something like UFC 300 back here, not every pay-per-view is going to be stacked to the absolute gills. And I understand pay-per-view prices are expensive, and I get a little bit of that. But the UFC is churning out fight nights. Now, could they drop some of these Apex events and save some of the firepower for, the fight nights with the crowds and the pay-per-views? If that's your argument, I get that, and I completely understand what you're saying. But guys, can we bring the expectations back to reality a little bit? They can't stack every single pay-per-view with all the stars, because then what are they going to do for the next pay-per-view? We saw that for 300, you're going to get a little bit of a hit after. And the UFC, down the stretch here towards the end of the year, is always a very big and crucial time for them. We always get big pay-per-view events. We always get spectacular events. The UFC, from the fall to the end of the year, from what I remember, has always been very good to us. But nonetheless, I like this card. I like this card a lot, and it's very easy to come up here and make a YouTube video and being like, oh, how the Sphere sucks, and Dana White, and oil him up, and all. I mean, the oil him up thing is kind of funny. I give you that, but the negativity around everything, like, oh my God, this is a good card. This is a good card, and the main event is a great matchup. The co-main event is a trilogy. Brian Ortega, Diego Lopez, batshit crazy. Daniel Zellhuber versus Esteban Ribovic. I sense a finish. Two prospects going at it. Ronaldo Rodriguez, his moment to shine. Big spotlight. Finally getting, an opportunity like that. Manuel Torres, Ignacio Bahamondes. That might be the best fight stylistically on the card. Like, why are people complaining? I don't get it. I don't get it. But nonetheless, I like this card. I want to hear from you all down in the comments. Like this video. Like I said, comment your thoughts down below. Subscribe to the channel. Help your boy out. I would appreciate it. See you next time.